Would you like to avoid some of the common mistakes that people make prior to applying for a mortgage that could actually get them a denial or not get their mortgage approved? In a couple of instances, there are things that you might do after you've been approved for the mortgage but haven't closed yet, which could result in ultimately a denial at the end. Well, I just want to talk to you about a couple of things that are basic, that are fairly common, that occur, that give borrowers problems or potential home buyers problems when applying for a mortgage. These are things you should remember before you decide to go home shopping or apply for a mortgage. The first thing is if you're thinking about buying a home in the near future, do not buy a car. Do not buy a car ahead of time. You could find yourself into a car payment that will limit your ability to qualify for the mortgage that you really need. You also don't want to buy a car after you've gotten the mortgage approval. If you've gotten your approval, you think, oh, okay, now that's beyond me. I can go ahead and do what I want. Don't do it, because your lender might pull your credit report again before closing and then suddenly see that new car payment there. They're going to have to redo the calculation again, and now you might not qualify with the new DTI. Do not buy a car. Hold out. Drive anything until after your loan actually closes. Avoid large deposits and or payments. Large transactions in your bank accounts coming or going will be a red flag to a lender. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you won't get approved, but in many instances, the situation has resulted in a denial. So refrain from making any large transactions on in your accounts. A job change. So if you're thinking about making a job change, don't do it until after you've closed on your loan. Not approved, closed, because there'll be a verification of employment that will occur at some point in between the two. You do not want to find out that you're going to get denied for the loan because you just changed jobs. There are many lenders that actually require you to be in the same job for 2 years. If you're dealing with that, then let us know, because that's not necessarily the case. You don't need to wait a full 2 years in the same job. However, if you just recently changed jobs, you might need to wait a little while and have enough pay stubs behind you in the new job before you can actually get approved and close on your mortgage. So don't do any of that, and at least speak to your loan officer ahead of time before considering a job change. The other thing is that if you're going from a W-2 job to 1099 or to self-employed, absolutely do not do it until after you close on your home. Don't make the mistake. You're going to have a very difficult time getting approved for a conventional mortgage, an FHA loan. If you're making that kind of a move, don't do it. And the final thing is, don't overcharge your credit cards, especially before and after you've been approved for your mortgage, because like I said earlier, there's a good chance that your lender might come back around and run your report again, especially if the process drags on. And now all of a sudden your credit scores are a lot lower because your credit utilization is up too high on your credit cards, and now the whole thing could fall apart on you. So you basically want to essentially freeze your life when it comes to credit and spending after you've applied for your mortgage and gotten your initial approval. And don't do any of these other things that I talked about, especially the car. I mean, I see people with $600-700 car payments, and it really negatively impacts the amount of mortgage you can get approved for. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully you're watching this well before you're considering applying for a mortgage or purchasing a home, and it's not too late. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, and we'll see you next time.